the test, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. As you guys know, we have the Champions Chess Tour final going on right now, and we have arrived to the Wesley So versus Magnus Carlsen match to see, who's the best of the best. I mean, Magnus is kind of good, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. But all of my people coming from the Philippines, I will say Maraming Salamat. Anybody who is coming from Norway, I will say Tusen Tak. And this is game number 2 that they played against each other, seeing if we got to go into a game 3. If you guys are ready, let's take a look, see what we got for this game, son. So we got the move D4, one of the best by tests. Knight to F6, we start the Indian game. We got the move C4, all really standard stuff, trying to control the center. We got the move E6, we got knight to C3, and this does invite the Nimzo Indian, but we do not see it. We got the move D5, and we just go straight into a Queen's Gambit declined. Super, super common way to play the position. One of the things that both players are fighting for is this E4 and D5 squares. You know, one thing that White would really, really love to do if they're given the chance is not only have a C and a D pawn forward, but also push this E pawn forward. So, you know, White is trying to see if they can create a situation for that to come on the board. And we do see bishop to G5 going along with what I just got done saying. Bishop is pinning this knight down to the queen. So it is making E4 push a lot more possible. So we just break that pin. Wesley So says, bro, I don't want any of that pin stuff. I got E4. So we do see bishop to E7. We got the move E3. We got H6, working to try to break the pin, but not necessarily give yourself, that much damage to your structure. We do see bishop going back to H4, and then we actually do see a critical decision by Wesley So, and this is pawn takes C4. Now, it's, one of the favorable moves in this position, but one of the things you have to be thinking about, one of the strategies that you have when you have a C and a D pawn locked in these queen pawn openings is to, if you can, wait until this bishop is developed first before you capture pawn takes C4, because then you've, just made White waste the tempo. Over time, centuries, you kind of found out that that's not, the be-all, end-all. But, I mean, sometimes it can be a nice little strategy to employ. But like I said, we don't see that. We just see pawn taking C4 directly. Bishop takes C4. And then we do see C5 by black. You got to challenge the center, homie, some kind of way. E5 isn't super favorable because you can just take here and then you just giving a pawn away for nothing. So C5 is the move. We got pawn taking C5, queen taking D1 with check, and because we have developed everything over there, we got the rook taking D1, so everything is covered. We're good to go. And then we do see knight B to D7. And what knight B to D7 actually does is it gives you a couple of options. Number one, obviously you want to capture this pawn some kind of way. So what knight B to D7 does is it just allows your knight to cover this other knight and allows your bishop to move. Or it allows the bishop to take and not, hang your knight high and dry. So, we're just kind of just making some nice developing moves. White can definitely try to hold the pawn with B4, but I mean, after B6, you're kind of getting broken down over there. So you don't really want to go for it. And we do see actually knight to B5, and this is the novelty of the game. But I mean, it makes a lot of sense because, I mean, where do you have the king and the rook? Bam! On forkable squares, right? So you're hoping that black is like, hey, man, I don't know what to do here. Let me just go A6 and kick your knight. And then you would be looking at knight to C7 check and bye-bye knight or bye-bye rook. So, yeah, we're not gonna go into that. Wes is like, bro, I'm just going to go ahead and, just defend. So we do see castles by black. We got the knight up to C7. We see rook over to B8. We do see bishop to G3. And this is putting a little bit of pressure on me. I ain't gonna lie to you. We got this bishop kind of eyeing this rook. So we actually see knight taking C5 in the position. And we have actually reached a position. If you want to pause the video and see what move Magnus Carlsen plays in this position, go ahead and do so. Okay, so you guys, I mean, looking at the position, you're looking at this bishop bearing down on this rook. So, like, what do you do with your knight? Because you want to discover an attack on the rook, right? Well, what we actually see in the position is knight to E8. So if you guess knight to E8, that would be, I would say it's more of a cute move. It's not like it's a be-all, end-all move. It's just kind of cute because it's like you're literally putting this knight next to all of black's pieces, and you are fully willing to trade a bishop, or I mean a knight, for a rook. Of course, who wouldn't? But we do not see that. We do see the rook going back over to a8. We actually see the knight coming back to c7. And I really think in this position that Max is kind of trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do. Does he want to repeat, or does he want to try to go into some different variation? We actually see rook back to b8. We got knight down to b5. Just kind of changing it somewhat. The rook goes back to a8. We do see knight coming back to c7. A rook goes back to b8. And then the knight goes back to b5. And we have drawn the game by threefold repetition here. So that is that game. It was kind of like a little miniature game. It wasn't like, you know, like a super long game. You know, it had like, you know, kind of some little bit of stuff in there. But, you know, this was the second game that they played against each other. So this does get them into the tie-break game. So we're going to see who can win that. So I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. Maraming salamat aking magkaibigan. Post na nunod ng king my video for sure. Magandang umaga. It's super early morning, so I appreciate everybody for coming by. Tusen tak and God Morgan for anybody that is coming from Norway, and of course everybody else from around the world. And I'm gonna see you guys next time.